Okay, so today we're going to do a little bit of maintenance. We are going to go ahead and do a little work on the HS1. Haven't taken this bike out in a while, but last time I did, I was having a little bit of problems when it was revving out, or I was putting a load on it. It wouldn't quite rev out as good as I had thought. So I haven't cleaned the carbs in probably years, so I'm thinking that there's probably a good amount of gunk or something in there. Spark plugs are good on it. I know they're new, so we'll just do a little bit of maintenance. I might grease the front axle and different things like that, but I mean, truth be told, I take this bike out like once a year, so it doesn't really matter too much. But let's go ahead and yank the carbs off. First things first, I'm going to get the battery off, which is under here. I'm going to put it on a trickle charger just to have it on and get that off. Take the air cleaner off, and then we should be able to pull the carbs out. Alrighty, so the battery is on the charger. It is charging, and honestly, my guess is this battery is probably dead, and probably part of my reason also that it's not running is great. These bikes don't necessarily need to have a full battery to run, but having a battery does affect, or having a low battery does affect the electrical spark and all of that. It actually forces the machine to charge all the time. So I have noticed that. So possibly got a bad battery, might be part of the cause. Air cleaner 1 is off. All it is just one screw, pops right off. And this one will do the same, but we'll just go to the other side here. And it should slide right off the same, but I think I gotta undo this oiler here, which is probably gonna leak oil everywhere, but let's see. Air cleaner number 2 is off, and now we'll go ahead and take the diaphragms out, unscrew the diaphragm here, and then unscrew the carb here, and it should all pop out, and we'll get it on the bench for a good look at it. Trying to do this all one-handed makes it almost impossible, but boom, diaphragm's out. Sweet. Now come on with the carbs. Okay, so let's just take a look at this carb. Just gotta get these screws out. I'm hoping really badly this thing isn't full of crap and junk, but probably is. You can tell it's got a lot of oil in it. It's actually a good thing though. Oh, that's actually pretty decent. Pretty decent shape actually for not cleaning these carbs after a very long time. So.
Come on, man.
Hey, how are you?
Another day in paradise.
Good.
No problem, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, you have a nice day. Pop that out, pop that out. There goes the needle. Come on out of there, Jet. There it goes. Oh, did it come out? There we go. Jet actually looks really good. Gonna go ahead and get a little nut on there, scoop that off. 8 mil. Actually looks pretty clean. Pleasantly surprised. Let's go ahead and do the other side. And here's this side. Looks in really good shape. Bowl of it is a little green, but honestly it's super good for not cleaning these carbs after for like a couple years. Alright, so I pretty much got the carbs disassembled here as far as I'm going to go. I might screw with the needles here, but to be honest, I might just leave them in there. Or count them, I suppose, how many turns in, and do it that way, right? But the guy who I had tune this is back up from in Minnesota, and I've never once had to use the choke on this bike, and it's always been like 2-3 kicks. When I was running it a lot back in the day, I could literally kick this bike over one time and it would right up and go. So not expecting to probably do much of that, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to brake cleaner these ones off. I don't think I'm going to send these through the ultrasonic just because I don't want to get it all set up, to be honest, for one carb clean. And these aren't bad at all. So we're going to go ahead, spray all this off, and then I think we can just clean them up as best you can, put them back on. All right, so now that I went ahead here and got these, I just went ahead and sprayed all these out and basically got them all detailed up. Honestly, probably could run them through the ultrasonic, but not gonna make a big deal. So I am gonna run just a wire through all of the plugs here, just to make sure it plugs. All of the run a wire through all of the jets, excuse me, to make sure that they all get cleaned out, so that I'm not putting something back in there. And after looking at it, guys, I think these are perfectly fine. I don't see any issue with them. So probably related more to the fact that the battery ain't charging. And I blow into them like this, and then I look through them into the light to make sure they're not gunked up. Do that on both sides, and then we will go ahead and basically reassemble the carbs back together. All right, so going ahead and putting everything back together here, the jets in place and all of that. And when you're putting jets back in, everything just has to be snug. You do not need to actually tighten this stuff down. A lot of times what'll happen is if you snug them down, you'll strip out the carburetor itself, the threads in the carb, and then it's junk at that point. You're screwed. So best to just be nice with everything and not worry about doing that. So it's a big thing. Another thing that'll happen too with these old metal floats is they stop floating. These metal ones, they start to get like abrasions on them and things like that, and then they won't float. Or you'll build up like gunk on one side or the other, and then they won't float up. So it actually cuts off your fuel supply because it stays down. Excuse me. Actually, it stays down and leaves the fuel open, and then in which it can, yeah, because no, let me think about this. So I'm right, it'll actually overfill. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit with the rag. Clean, clean, bang, bang. Not that crazy, just get any of the major gunk off. For those of you that haven't figured out, this is kind of the redneck way to do this. To like really clean carbs, and to really do them right, you should have them in the ultrasonic tank. But for me, and the fact that this is not green in any way, shape, or form, I'm totally okay doing what I'm doing. If it was green, 100% would be breaking out the tank. But these carbs look phenomenal for what they are right now. So go ahead, get these bad dogs on here. Probably gonna end up replacing quite a few of these lines too. I think I have some extra hose in there, so we'll probably do that as well as part of the process here. But let's screw on all these. Just like that. Carb is in back working order. Choke works. Everything looks good. A little grimy, but mint. Okay. Well, I put the second one here back together. A little story time about this motorcycle that you see behind me here. So this bike was bought on my behalf in Minnesota. So believe it or not, I was hanging out with some friends, and my father and grandfather, who's now passed, has been about a year, they were at a swap meet together and called me up when I was hanging out with some friends and said, "Hey, Mitch, just letting you know you bought a motorcycle." And I said, "What?" Okay, what is it and that sort of thing. ended up, you know, coming home with this, it's a 1970 Yamaha HS1 twin two-stroke. So it's a little 90cc bike. And man, you know, it came home, it did have a little problems. I had to get some clutch stuff. I think they paid like, I don't know, like $1,000 for it, something like that at the swap meet, you know, and whatnot. But to be honest, you know, in the moment, I was probably not that I was not happy, but I definitely didn't know what I bought and had no idea. You know, I'm really happy that they did do what they did, because this motorcycle ended up being, you know, some of the most fun that I've ever had. I used to take this thing in Minnesota and go ride it everywhere. It's probably like one of the most reliable little bikes that I mean, you could ever ride. It's like a scooter, right? I used to take it on like 50-mile trips in Minnesota. I'd stop at the gas station, you know, do my, you know, 50 miles, 25 miles, whatever it was, stop at the gas station, fuel up. People love this little bike. So it was always super fun for me to ride around town, and my grandfather knew it when they'd see me out, and same with my father. So, you know, for memory's sake, it's probably one of the coolest things that I think I've ever bought. So I'm super, super, super glad that ended up happening. And truth be told, I think a lot of the memories in life that we have are like that, right? We buy something, maybe a little bit out of our purchase range or something unexpected, right? And, you know, it ends up being some of the best thing that we ever did, right? So stuff I've been learning as I get older. But get the last screw in here, and then I think we're gonna check and see if I have some extra hoses. Just like that, I have enough hose cut to length to put onto the carburetor. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut this out, and then give you an after photo. Boom. Brand new hoses. Time to go back on the bike. But before we do that, I'm gonna wipe it down in here, get it all nice and cleaned up there, and then we'll put the carbs back on, and then look at battery. May need to get a new battery. Man, this thing is not charging at all. Probably part of my problem. Okay, so the carbs are on here. I got the diaphragms all here screwed on really, really nicely. I set the choke here so that both carburetors open at the same time. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the fuel lines back on, and then we'll put the air cleaner back on, and we'll do a little check on the battery. Something tells me I'm gonna have to run into an AutoZone to get a new battery. So one of the last things that I'm gonna do to this bike is I'm gonna put the baffles back in the exhaust. There's gonna be no packing on it, but I'm gonna put them back in. So when I originally got this bike, I took the baffles out, and that's why this thing sounds super, super cool compared to most of these bikes of that era, and it's not that quiet. This thing is so loud. But I am going to put them back in without packing, just to have them in, because I don't want to lose them. My dad finally gave them to me after being down here in Florida for a couple years, so they just slide in right in the exhaust there, and then you just tighten them down here. But you can see my hands are all full of oil from these things, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. All right, baffles are in. But as you can see, battery charger still reads charging. Pretty shocked, actually. This battery should show something on the charge. My guess is this is a bad battery, so I'm gonna have to go get me a new one, and that will probably be partially of what's causing this to do what it is. So I'm gonna call AutoZone and see if they got something for me. Well, it seems I'm gonna have to put this project on hold. I can't get a battery for it. I gotta go online and buy one, or I guess search around here for a little bit. So project to be continued. The next you will see, the next clip at least, is when I get the battery, and then we'll test this thing to see if it fixed our problem. And also, it's probably going to sound a lot different too with the baffles in. So cheers to the next clip, where you'll see me riding this thing with a fully charged battery. So like I've said in all the last 14 clips, the battery is probably bad, right? And I told you I'd snap my fingers and you'd see me riding down with a good new clean battery. But I'm gonna test something. I got a brand new battery charger here, Noco battery charger. I guess it's got some good reviews. I am gonna let this thing sit and charge for a while here, maybe overnight, and come back in the morning and let's see if this battery charger will actually rejuvenate this battery, and or maybe it's not as bad as I thought. Alrighty everybody, it's a beautiful morning out here and it's the next day. I went ahead and checked the battery this morning. It was deader than a doornail. My Noco Genius 5 said that it was a bad battery, and that was indicated by the light here flashing red, indicating bad battery. Unfortunately, that is the case, but I went ahead and, as you can tell, got a new battery here. Just one from Advanced Auto. It is not the same size. It's actually a lot smaller, but otherwise I have to wait like 10-15 days to get a battery ordered online, and this is a super odd battery, so this isn't going to be bouncing around. It's an AGM battery anyway, so if it bounces around a little bit, not going to make a big difference. So I got this thing charging up right now. I'm going to put it in the bike and then we'll go for a ride. It's like 45 degrees here in Florida, so I'm going to wait a little bit for the weather to warm up before I take the Yamaha out here, because if I take this thing out, I know for a fact what's going to happen. I'm going to blow it up because it's going to run really, really good. You know how it goes. So, all right, let's get the battery in. All right, so battery is in place here. Got the strap on here. Battery isn't going to move anywhere. You see it's got a little bit of gap here, a little bit of gap on this side as well, which is totally fine for me. So we're going to put the charger on it, let it trickle charge up. Once the weather warms up, we'll take this thing for a ride. Just going to go down the street a little bit. You can tell it's significantly quieter with the baffles in it now. Significantly better. I can already feel it revving out a lot more than it had in the past. Definitely was related to the battery. Helps that the weather right now is probably about 50-55 degrees. With an air-cooled motor, significantly better. Heat kills motors. So does really cold weather. It makes these two-strokes run really good and it'll grenade them. That's a wrap there, folks. Bike It's running mint. Revs out exactly the way I expected it and the way it used to. So definitely stone cold dead battery. Probably not helping the cause here. So fortunately, we are mint, and I'm gonna let this battery then charge up the rest of the way, and just like that, we did a little maintenance items. Oh, while you guys were away too, I also did the oil change on this too. Super easy. There's no filter or anything, so not really worth showing. So let's go. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment.